Introducing the new low-fat Subway Buffalo Chicken. Spicy chicken, cool light ranch, one hot sandwich. All the flavor you love with 7 grams of fat. For a limited time, hurry to Subway and enjoy the newest part of a Subway Fresh Fit meal. The B.S. Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The B.S. Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report. Week 4 in the books. I got crushed. Week 5 coming up. Hopefully I'll do better. On the phone, as always, in the Subway First Take Hotline, our old pal, Cousin Sal. What's happening?
What's happening, Billy?
I guess Vegas is just getting crushed. They bumped all the lines up. They try to have a lot of high favorites this week. They hope to rope the public money in, and the favorites just ended up covering left and right.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's like 4 or 5 teams that are going to have a combined maybe 7 or 8 wins this year, don't you think? Like, I'm not even counting the Lions, who look decent but probably won't win much. But like Rams, Raiders, Bucks, Chiefs, Bills, I throw in there.
Yeah, the Lions, maybe because Stafford, they don't know how bad the injury is, but if he's hurt, I would throw them in too. How many games are they going to win with Dante Culpepper?
Right, they could be back to last year's form. But
Well, I mean, we've had seasons before where there's been haves and have-nots, but I don't remember 6 truly horrible teams before.
yeah, this is. I mean, if you're in a suicide pool, be prepared to tie with 75 people by the end of the year, because it's going to be tough to eliminate people.
Could we could see a couple 20-point lines this year.
Mm-hmm. I thought, well, I don't want to get into it, but I thought the Giants would be higher, and I thought a few others, so maybe there are some gaps.
And we don't even know, like Carolina might be bad too.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, for all we know, might be the 7th terrible team. They've done nothing to show us that they're not terrible.
Yeah, Carolina will probably have like 4 wins and be the 7th or 8th worst team.
Let's quickly talk about last night's Packers-Vikings game before we do the Week 5 lines.
I didn't watch. You're going to have to fill me in. I really didn't watch.
You stayed away?
No, of course I saw it.
You know, it was great theater. I don't think I realized. I knew the Packers were banged up on the offensive line. I didn't realize that it was a jailbreak every play for Aaron Rodgers. Holy mackerel.
My God, I know.
I guess we should have known from the guy who had 5 sacks in Week 2 against them that maybe Jared Allen was going to have a big day.
Right.
But somehow I took the Packers anyway, and I still felt pretty good about it because it seemed like they could move the ball, but man.
I had the Packers too. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, that Vikings defense was fierce, and they attacked the ball every play, but Rodgers had like 384 yards passing, so I don't know. And that's Brett Favre. It gets me sick. Why should he be so good again? Right?
I know.
Does it make any sense? It's like, you know, he blew the NFC Championship game for sure against the Giants. Then he goes to the Jets. He has a terrible second half. This is like getting like your grandfather. Like, we got to get him off the road. We have to he can't drive anymore, you know? He's putting the car in reverse at the stop sign, and you know, he's leaving the car on in the driveway. He's running over mailboxes, and finally he gets off the road, and now he's back on the road, and he's changing lanes well, and he's yielding, and he's not getting in accidents. Like, what? Favre is supposed to suck. What's going on?
But he's peeing on himself. I don't get it at all. I thought he was really good last night, and I also thought Rodgers, I thought, for his numbers, did not have a good game. I just thought he held the ball too long. Over and over and over again, and none of the announcers were calling him out on it. I thought he had a bad game.
Yeah. That's the weird thing. Like, his numbers will indicate. I mean, you can't get sacked in the end zone, for sure.
No, you have to throw the ball within 2-3 seconds in the end zone. You can't just dance around and look for guys that aren't open for 10 seconds. So, you know, I don't know. If he threw a couple of those away, I feel like the Packers could have won that game because they certainly were moving the ball. But maybe this Vikings team is good. Is that possible? Is this like a really good team and we're just not seeing it?
I think they're good. I'm an NFC supporter, and I think I put our top three, Vikings, Giants, Saints, up against your AFC, any top three right now. Right now, I do.
They can rush the passer. They can run the ball. They get big plays every game. I mean, it's not an accident after 4 weeks. Every game they're getting a 40-yard play or a 50-yard play or something. That's not even counting like when Peterson breaks one. So, I guess.
I hate to give Favre credit there, but he does make no-name receivers good. He's always done it. And, Harvin and Rice now.
Right.
Varian's, average, a little above average. These guys are, you're right, they're putting up, 40-plus yard plays every game.
Yeah, I didn't think the Vikings were going to be good, but it wasn't because of the Favre thing. I thought, just think about what would happen if Tavares Jackson was back there tonight, or last night.
Yeah.
That's a loss for them.
Right.
So he's clearly an upgrade, but I just wasn't sure with the coaching and the special teams and all the stuff that usually comes back to haunt them that they'd be there. You know what the key play was last night was Green Bay's kick returner went out early, Blackman.
Right.
And Minnesota perennially terrible special teams year after year after year. And I thought when he went out, that was a 7-point swing in that game. Because you knew he was going to break one at some point in the four quarters.
And they weren't starting. They started a lousy field position pretty much the rest of the way. Yeah.
Well, put it this way. They had to bring in a white guy to return kicks after that. That's never good.
You hate white people. I don't know.
I've been so down on whites. I watched the Cowboys-Broncos game at our cousin's house with about 20 of our friends. And Romo was so bad that it actually became awkward for everybody with you. I'm going to tell you now 2 days later.
You give him. Here's what happens with me with Romo. I'm down on him. I'm 100% down on him. I try to bite my tongue, and then by Tuesday, whenever we do this podcast, I look to blame others. And now I've assigned the coaching staff most of the blame for that game.
Oh, good. You know what it felt like? It felt like fast forward to 2019. And your son Archie is like the shortstop on some Babe Ruth team or something and commits 5 errors. And we're all there to support Archie. And then after the game, we're just like, hey, good game. All right, Sal, we'll see you later. It's one of those moments with Romo. All of us just wanted to get out. Just wanted to flee the premises.
I don't know what to think because, all right, fine. I'll sign off on him being an average quarterback. But then that fourth down play, that scrambling play, not the catastrophe at the end. The scrambling play where he floats it out to Hurd and they gain like 30 yards and go downfield 40 yards. I think only like 3 quarterbacks can make that play. And I'm like, oh, God, he's so talented. Just get it together. Why are you such a head case down at the goal line? But you were there when I gave everyone, half jokingly, I said, listen, I'm not being a pessimistic Cowboys fan, but it's fourth down at the 2 here. And I know this team, and I give anyone 75-1 odds. The Cowboys don't convert.
Yeah.
You get 75-1 odds if they score and tie this, and there really weren't any takers.
No. I mean, all of us thought they weren't going to get it. The thing they're missing is that possession guy, the Marvin Harrison type, the Wes Welker type, the guy who can run like the little 4-yard slant and just get open and catch a pass. Witten used to be that guy. And I don't know if he's hurt or if he got old or what happened, but or maybe he's getting triple teamed. I don't know.
I watched the game again. He really wasn't open that much. Somehow they covered him. And somehow, though, I mean, there should be another side to go. We threw at Champ Bailey's side 16 times. I don't know if that's play calling or what, but we threw at one of the best corners maybe ever, definitely now playing 16 times. And that play he made, that's what screwed it up. But we're up 10-7. We have the ball on a turnover right at the half, first down at the 24. And not only do we not come away with any points, we turn it over. Romo throws an interception, a great play by Champ Bailey, and we have to burn a timeout, which we would have used at the end for sure. So he was rattled for the rest of the game. We never recovered. But
how'd you feel about how'd you feel about the 3-time this decade champion New England Patriots and their performance against the Ravens?
I think, I mean, you talk about Tony Romo. I'd much rather have Tony Romo than what Tom Brady has become.
Oh,
come on.
Oh,
Guys, look, he's pointing that. Now he's like, they're winning because of rules that are made completely for him now. Look,
I
and
can't
he's pointing
defend
it
that.
out. He's like, he's diving at my feet. Look, he brushed by my feet. I don't want. It's like my wife when she sees a spider. Like she's pointing at the ground and she wants help. It's getting embarrassing, isn't it?
I can't defend it. I'm not going to try. I will say though that that it's for the first time I'm starting to get a little worried that his confidence in his legs and the people jumping around him is not going to come back this year. It does seem like
he's aware of it.
Yeah, he's a little too aware, and with reason. He had reconstructive surgery on his knee, and I don't know. Maybe I'm more aware of it because I'm so worried that somebody's going to crash his knee again. But it seems like anytime somebody comes near his legs, it makes me jumpy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was a nice win, though, because, to beat the Ravens like that without Mayo, the Ravens, I thought, played really well. They, it looked like they were going to score the go-ahead touchdown at the end there. And, it's a nice win. Pat's 3-1.
That's a tough team to beat. And they dropped passes and everything else, but that's a tough team to beat. You have to have wins like that in October and late September, whatever.
Pats go 2-1 against the Jets, the Ravens, and the Falcons. I guess I'd take 2-1 in that with banged up.
Yeah, he should throw to Champ Daly this weekend. Yeah.
All right, let's pick the Week 5 lines. I have a wrinkle though. I think we should start using what the lines are right now versus what they were when they opened.
I started thinking about that. I don't. The thing is, the line changes throughout the week. So depending on when do people listen to this podcast?
Well, they listen to it. It's going to go up. We're recording this one today at 8 o'clock West Coast time in the morning. So people will be listening to it by early afternoon. Shouldn't we play off what the line is now?
They'll listen like Thursday and Friday, and by then the line. I think the opening line is the one to start at. But whatever, fine. You want to go? You want to go by what it is?
Well, what do you want to do? Let's have Joe Mead be the deciding vote. Joe Mead.
Yeah.
Do you think we should use the USA, the whatever line that Vegas opened with, or the way the line is right now?
Well, I think this week, since Sal already picked these based on what he thought the opening line would be, you got to go opening line this week.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
If you want to change it for next week, so Sal's on the same page, then I'm fine with that.
Okay.
See, that's good. That's good thinking. And by the way, Joe, can we find someone who cares less about this?
Can we, Joe Mead, though, you got to hand it to him. He was a voice crying in the wilderness that Trent Edwards was terrible. He really was. There's a little Trent Edwards is a decent QB momentum building, and Joe Mead was screaming the opposite and has been proven correct. Right. He's terrible.
Congratulations. You're right. Your team sucks, Joe.
Congratulations, Joe. You're headed for another top 7 pick.
Can we get another quarterback? Isn't Jeff Garcia available?
How about the Bills went 0 for the decade? 0 for the decade for playoff appearances. That's almost impossible. I mean, it's one thing if you're an expansion team, but to be a team that was in the league since 1960 or whatever?
Wow.
You go 0 for the decade?
That's
Sorry,
rough,
Joe.
It's a curse of Doug Flutie. Benched him for the playoff game.
It really is. The curse of the Music City Miracle. Wasn't that your last playoff appearance?
That was.
That's frightening. I remember watching that game. I mean, I was living in Boston. I was broke. I won some money on it. It was exciting. That was the last Bills time.
That was 10 years ago, huh?
Yeah.
10 years ago?
More than 10. I think that was, 10 years ago.
I think it was 10.
Yeah. All right, Sal. Let's start them.
All right. So it's week 5. We're 2-2. We've tied. We tried to pick the winners against the spread. And at the end of the year, whoever has the most weeks won will get to bash the other for a full minute with a Subway sandwich, like a foot long. And it's going to be put the works on it, right?
Yeah, and it's hard to believe, but your cousin Jimmy had some opinions on what we should do that conflicted with what the prevailing opinions already were. Yeah.
He said we should wrap the sandwich so it doesn't fall apart.
No, he said you should definitely wrap the sandwich. Like we were idiots because we didn't think of that. It was great.
By the way, we'll get to this in 1 second, but this is a money-making proposition for us. Whoever wins can sell off like a swing. Like you could sell off to Jeff Ross. You could sell one of my enemies. You could sell a swing for like.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, let's start.
Week 5, Washington and Carolina. So here's what we'll do. We'll go by the opening line, but I'll mention if it's moved. So.
Okay, good. well, both of these teams stink, but I'm going to say Carolina by 3.
All right, you get this one. I thought it would be 6. I thought it would be higher, but it opened at 4, and it's 3.5. So you were closer. You're up 1-0.
I think I like Washington.
You do, huh?
Yeah, both of those teams suck. Why not take the points?
I can't believe someone has to win this game, really. But I won't watch a minute of this except for the highlights, which there may not be any.
Hey, Sal, I did something very dumb in my column on Friday.
What is it?
I touted how well I was doing on picks for the season.
Oh, yeah.
And joked that it was the season of Simmons. And, yeah, the gambling gods said, you know what? Here's a 5-9 for week 4. Here's your season of Simmons. Why did I do it? What is it about gambling that when you're doing well, you have to tell other people how excited you are that you're doing well, and then they just get mad at you?
Because here's what it is. It's simple. No one makes money gambling. Nobody. So
yeah, it's true.
If you're on the plus, if you're hitting at 60 or 70%, you have to let people know. You can't keep this under your hat.
Yeah, I guess.
Minnesota at St. Louis.
Oh no! Wow, Minnesota's going to be 5-0.
This is what I mean.
I didn't look at the matchups this week. Usually I look and I do my preliminary picks in my head, but holy mackerel. I'm going to say Minnesota by, how high can this go? 13.
All right. I said Minnesota by 12, and it's actually opened at 10, so I get this one.
What is it now?
Let's see. I'm trying to see where it went to now. It's only 10.5, so.
Oh.
If you're a fan of the 3-team teaser, there's the first gift.
I mean, St. Louis in 4 games couldn't score enough points to keep up with Minnesota.
No.
The Minnesota, I think you could pencil them in for 28 plus every week, right?
I think so. They should get 2 touchdowns. The Rams, I don't care who they're playing. The line should start at 2 touchdowns, and then people should bet off that.
Peterson is so good that everybody has to stack the line. Just have to. You have to take him out of the game, or else he's going to destroy you. And basically, it's just Favre. It's a question of whether Favre can just throw a pass to wide open guys, whether he can complete that pass.
Right. Well, now all that said, in the old days, like going back in college, we would go crazy taking the Vikings, and it would be a short week, and they wouldn't get up for this game, and they'd eke this out by 7 points or something, much like the Bengals did. Yeah,
this has a little. That definitely has a trap game feel. The counter argument to that would be that the Rams are barely a professional football team.
Mm-hmm.
They stink.
That's true.
They're really, really terrible.
All right. Speaking of barely a professional football team, Dallas travels to Kansas City. We should kill the Chiefs, but we won't.
Dallas by, the line shouldn't be as high as I'm about to guess, but for some reason, the Dallas lines always seem to skew high. So I'm going to say Dallas by 5.5.
All right. I said Dallas by 7.5, and it's 7, and it's moved to 8.5.
All right. That's ridiculous.
So
That's stupid.
Just take the Chiefs. Well, I'd be all over the Chiefs here, but we do have our thing going, right, where we bet the teams that fired their offensive coordinator a week before the season, and that's Tampa, Kansas, and Buffalo, and those teams are 1-11.
And 1-11 and 2-10 against the spread.
And only because Tampa played Buffalo, so one of those teams had to win. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm torn.
Kansas City out of all the really bad teams is the one that I could at least see showing some signs of life at some point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they'd be good, but at the very least, sort
this
of.
This one will make me extra sick.
Yeah.
All right. Pittsburgh at Detroit.
Oof. Have you listed a good game yet?
No. I was looking at it in terms of screens, where we should put what.
These are awful.
Yeah.
I'm going to say...
Did you see Monday Night Raw by any chance?
I did. I thought Roethlisberger was good.
You liked him?
I did. I thought he really threw himself into it. 7. Listen.
I think he's basically K-Fed with scrambling ability right now. I mean, you listen to him speak. What a dope. But, yeah, no, he did act a part.
Well, how big is he going to be in 15 years? Is he going to be 450 pounds?
He might be, yeah.
He's put on 50 since we've known him for the past 3 years.
Right.
And still as mobile as he ever was.
Right. I know. Yeah, he had fun with that. He had fun. And let me tell you, if I'm the Lions, it's not like the Steelers have a bye week coming this week. They have to play the Lions, and Ben Roethlisberger, instead of watching tape, is doing backstage sketches with midgets. So you got to be a little annoyed if you're Detroit.
I was on a Boston radio station yesterday and talking about the Pats, saying that I thought the key to the season was Brady had to get back to being, one of the top 5 quarterbacks, and he wasn't there right now. So my buddy Bug heard it and was very upset.
Really?
That I thought Brady wasn't in the top 5 yet, and I was like, I just from what we've seen this season, you can't say he's a top 5 quarterback. He might be 3 weeks from now, and he was in the past, but performance-wise, he is not in the top 5. So then it went. So who's in the top 5? All that stuff. I had Roethlisberger ahead of him so far this season.
You did, huh?
Yeah, I think it goes in some order. Well, Manning and Breeze in some order, 1, 2, and then I think Roethlisberger, Rivers are 3, 4. Or Rivers, Roethlisberger 3, 4. But I think that's the top 4 in some order. And then after that, the 5th spot, is Brady playing better than Flacco? No.
Well, it's funny you say this because my buddy Darren and I, we talked about this the other day. Like, when you say top 5, what do you mean? Like, still, if you're down 3 with 2 minutes left, your top 5 is different than the top 5. I think
True.
That's ranked, right?
Yeah, I'm just talking about reliable week-to-week guys that if you said, I'm going to take this guy and I know what I'm going to get from him week after week, I think Roethlisberger is in the top 4 now. I just think he's just a really good, really consistently solid QB.
I think so, too. I'm not happy to say it.
Yeah, I'm not either. The Super Bowl really helped him confidence-wise. He just can't. He makes plays pretty much every time he needs to. He's gotten to that level where you're surprised if he misses a throw or something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm going to say... I'm
short Brady, so Brady's short. He's got a rule after him and everything. Until these guys have rules made for them, you can't put them ahead of Brady.
Well, they'll call it the Ben rule because nobody likes saying his last name. Well, since these lines are all skewing high, I'm going to guess Pittsburgh by 12.5.
All right, I had this. I said 10, and it was 10. But let me see if you're right and it moved. It only moved to 10.5. So
it's a little low.
3-1 right now.
That's a little low for Dante Culpepper against the Steelers.
Yeah, they're giving teams like Detroit and St. Louis a little too much credit just because they're home. Like, big deal. These games are in domes. The better team will be able to do what they want.
Yeah.
Here's another bad game. Oakland at the Giants.
Oh, this is our first over 2 touchdowns line. 16.5.
I said 17, and it's 15, so you get it. And it's has not moved. It's about still at 16.
Who in their right mind would pick the Raiders in that game with their coach possibly getting thrown in jail this week? I wish I'd known that last week. I didn't realize that the situation was coming to a head. I never would have taken the Raiders.
Couldn't they pay this guy off? What is going on? This seems like another Al Davis mess. Like, this should have gone away.
But this is the worst organization. It's the worst organization in football, though. This is exactly what you expect, right?
Yeah. The only saving grace, Eli Manning, they may be looking ahead. They'll be undefeated, and they'll play the Saints, who will be undefeated. They have a bye. Maybe the Giants are looking ahead, and Eli has a foot injury, but they should take care of business here, the Giants.
Huh.
Tampa at Philly is another awful game.
Yeah, you're. Did you like that little phone ring?
Is that Al Davis on the phone? He must not be happy.
Yeah, Al's furious right now. So this is our 7th straight bad game.
Yeah.
Philly at Tampa. Right. Do we have Donovan McNabb in this game?
He's probable. He thinks he'll play. Another easy suicide pick here.
I got to say, I didn't mind Josh Johnson last week. I actually thought he was decent.
He came out, that opening drive, he was good, but you can't leave Jason Campbell 57 minutes. It's too much time. It's not way too much time, but it's just enough time.
You like Josh Johnson, right? He's competent.
Yeah.
And all the terrible backup QBs, I thought he's the best one we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Philly by 9.5.
Oh, no, you were off here. I said 13.5, and it's 13.
Oh, my God. So now I lower my 13 picks, and it goes back up?
They have all different rankings, Vegas, than you and I. So I'm up 4-2 in these awful batch of early games.
That's weird because Tampa's better than St. Louis and Detroit right now. right?
Yeah.
Or at least they're better than St. Louis.
I don't know. What did they score? Did they score 10 or 14 last week?
But they hung in that game, though. Yeah. They had the game. They were almost won the game.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
We just throw Washington in that mix, too, and they're just bad. It's hard to say. Here's the only game of interest early on Sunday, Cincinnati at Baltimore.
Wow. Cincinnati's had a tough schedule this year.
Yeah.
Have they had an easy game yet?
No, they're Denver and Pittsburgh they beat. And, Cleveland. They had Cleveland last week. Should have been easy.
I'm going to guess this one exactly.
Go ahead.
Baltimore by 7.
I said Baltimore 8. It's Baltimore 9. And it's moved to 8.5.
Wow. No respect for the Bengals.
I don't think so. Yeah. That's what happens when you go to overtime with Cleveland. Vegas throws their hands in the air.
Yeah, but that was a classic letdown week.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the flip side, Baltimore's going to be extra PO'd at all this, right?
You would think.
They're not going to screw around. And this is the last Sunday early game, Cleveland at Buffalo. So there was really only one game of interest in that early batch.
Cleveland at Buffalo is especially depressing for some reason. Sorry, Joe Mead.
Why don't they just... how much would you pay to see Braylon Edwards fight LeBron James?
Well,
That'd be the halftime. Give them each $20 million. I don't know where the money comes from.
I was talking to my friend Sully last night, who works for the Celtics, who has a rule that anytime two NBA players feud, it's either over a poker game or somebody had sex with the other guy's girlfriend or mistress.
Yeah.
And we were debating whether this applied to the Braylon Edwards LeBron James scenario. And then I came up with a brainstorm that it actually goes further than the poker scenario because LeBron James owns a casino in his house that he built.
Oh.
So what are the odds that Braylon Edwards played at LeBron James's casino, lost a lot of money, didn't have it on him, and was like, I'll get it to you this week, and didn't, and that led to the whole Braylon Edwards LeBron James bad blood. I like that theory.
Let's put that out there. I don't care if it's true. Let's put it out there.
So that's one theory. The other theory is that LeBron just had sex with his girlfriend. That would be another possibility. Or Braylon Edwards had sex with one of LeBron James's entourage's girlfriend. I mean, there's a lot of things in play. Put it that way. I wish we could wager on it.
Well, that's why they should work it out at halftime during this game.
Yeah, we're good.
The full game.
So it's Cleveland at Buffalo?
Yep.
I'm going to say Buffalo by 4.5.
I said 4. You're going to get this one because it's 6. Somehow this game is 6, and it's remained at 6.
Interesting.
This is the same team playing each other, right? And one of them is getting 6 points?
It's the same team and the same depressed fan base.
Mm-hmm. All right, so right now after the early games, it's 5-3. I'm in the lead. Atlanta at San Francisco.
I like the Niners in this game. I'm not convinced the Falcons are that good.
I like them, too. I don't like that Atlanta's coming off a bye, but I like the Niners in this game, too.
I'm going to say Niners by, it's either 3.5 or 4, and I'm going to say 3.5.
All right, I said 2.5. It opened at 2, and it's gone to 2.5, so I get that one.
Vegas say, well, Vegas
take them, win by a field goal. Their defense does the job mostly. I know it's against the lousy Rams, but I like that defense.
Vegas just told us that they think Atlanta is better than San Francisco with that line.
Right, because they're not even giving 3 at home.
I don't agree.
No, I don't either. I think, I don't know. What did Atlanta, what was that last goal? They lost to the Patriots, right? They didn't really even show up.
Atlanta beat Carolina. They beat somebody else. They beat Miami. 0-3, now 1-3 Miami. They beat 0-3 Carolina, and they got handily beaten by the Pats.
I think San Francisco's this year's Atlanta. I think they win that game.
Yeah.
Decision. The only team
looks like Atlanta and Denver look like the two. I mean, Atlanta and Denver. Not Atlanta. San Francisco and Denver look like the two 10-win teams that people didn't see coming.
All right. Let's then, speaking of, New England at Denver. Big screen game.
This is the only line that I've given a lot of thought to.
This is the only good game this week I'm looking. I mean, Cincy at Baltimore is all right.
I think they can get away with listing this as Pats by 3.5.
That's what you think it is?
Yes.
You got it exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I said it was Pats by 4, and let's see if it's moved. It's gone to 3.5. So you got
yeah. It should be 3, but the Pats get the half point because still, even though the Broncos are 4-0, nobody believes in them.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes with the NFL. Nobody believes in us. There's no stronger phenomenon.
Yeah, but maybe there are rule changes they're going to implement like Thursday that we don't know about, and that'll change, back in the Patriots' favor.
Ah.
What a puss bag. Pointing at his feet. Come on.
Do you think Wade Phillips is trying to explain the nobody believes in us concept to Tony Romo right now? Tony, when this happens, you're supposed to start playing better. Nobody believes in you. Do you get it?
I think if you're a realtor, if you sell real estate, a real estate agent in the greater Dallas area,
yeah,
you have a civic duty to the city to offer Mike Shanahan 0% commission and find him a house. Very simple.
Can't they just bring him in for this week? just have him kind of standing there. It'd be like when the first year of Jimmy Kimmel Live, when all of a sudden Michael Davies started showing up in the office.
Right.
We were like, what's he doing here? No, he's not working for the show. He's just kind of hanging around. Like it'd be Shanahan.
God. Oh, get rid of him already.
Yeah.
Jacksonville at Seattle. It's tough to find a line on this because I don't know if Hasselbeck will play, but I did find an opening line, and then they took it off. So,
what do we make of Jacksonville?
Well, why don't you guess the line first? All
right, I'll guess the line first. I'm going to say Seattle by 2.5.
All right, I said Seattle by 4, which is way high because it's Jacksonville opened at 3.
Yeah, no, the Seneca Wallace, nobody believes in him, and with reason.
He ended up having decent numbers. I know it was like garbage time that he put him up against the Colts, but
garbage.
Jacksonville on the road, like they were just getting points at home against a winless team.
They looked very good this week.
Seattle was a tough place to play. I wouldn't take Seattle, but that seemed weird to me.
Beating an 0-3 Titans team is no small feat because that was their whole season. You know what's interesting about this Titans team? Chuck Cecil is their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Maybe you might want to try a different tactic there, Chuck.
He could be done. Yeah. That's I don't know. This is such a boring game. This is 4 years ago. This could have been the Super Bowl. You realize when Seattle.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't want to see a minute of this. Houston at Arizona. By the way, it's 6-5 now. I lead going into this game.
This is an interesting game because these teams are kind of the same team. Mm-hmm. From week to week, you have no idea which version is going to show up. I'm going to say Arizona by 5.
Oh, man. You get it. I said 4.5. Arizona is favored by 6, and it's moved down to 5.5 since.
That's a tough one. That's the Vegas zone. That makes sense because I can't figure out either of those teams.
So we're tied 6. Yeah, I think like whoever loses this game is out of the playoff race, and whoever wins this game is out of the playoff race.
I kind of like Houston.
It's very important.
Don't you like Houston a little?
That's a lot of points, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of points. That feels like a 3-point game.
Arizona coming off the bye. All right, 6-6. 2 games remain.
Yeah.
Indy at Tennessee, Sunday night.
Oh. NBC's got to be bummed out that they don't have Pat's Denver.
Yeah, you're right.
They can't flip that, huh?
It's too early, I think. We were saying with Tennessee, like, whenever we flip over to that game, they don't have the ball. Like they're that team this year. Like why don't they ever have the ball? I don't know if the TOP stats indicate it, but I haven't seen Collins drop back since last year's playoffs, really.
Yeah, we need to come up with a nickname for teams that you never see their offense. It's like the offense isn't a witness protection program. Wait, didn't they just have an 80-yard drive? How's that offense back on the field? The defense is just on for 60 minutes.
Guys that you don't see all year.
Yeah. If the listeners can come up for a name for the phenomenon of watching 4 games at once and on one TV, one offense is on the field for all 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Come up with that for us. I'm going to say, I think this is the week Vegas jumps on Tennessee. I'm going to say Indy by 6.
Oh, no, you were off. It's Indy. I said Indy by 4. It's Indy by 3.5.
Wow, that's stupid.
It's still 3.5. So.
If we've learned anything from over the years from gambling on football, it's that one team just stinks. That's a veteran team that's done it before, and everybody keeps waiting for them to bounce back. And this will be the week, and they just screw everybody for 10 weeks. Over week after week after week, the line is wrong, and it just turns out that they stink. I think Tennessee is that team this year.
I agree. It won't make sense if they win this game.
This happens all the time.
Colts at night in the regular season are golden, right? Didn't we talk about that?
You bought those books before on the newsstands, where the magazines where they have like the spread history of the NFL for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And then it'll have to go year by year, the records of each team. And every year there's like a team that's 3-13 against the spread or 3-12-1. And it's always it's either a team that just was awful and went 1-15, or it's a team that won like 12 wins the year before and then went like 4-12 the next year.
Yeah.
And the Titans are that team this year.
This is them.
They're going to finish 4-12 or 5-11, and they're going to finish like 3-13 against the spread.
I love it too. Maybe they'll get rid of Jeff Fisher and he'll come to Dallas.
I'm so mad I didn't go against them last week. I was thinking about it last week, and I was like, how can they go 0-4? That's a good team, but sometimes it just happens.
Vegas screwed us. We talked about this. If they would have made Jacksonville favored in that game, I would have said, let's go Jacksonville. They're going to win. But they made Tennessee favored, and then it gets into your head like, oh man, that's right. You're right. They need to win, and so.
All right, last one.
Not doing it, Vegas. All right, I'm up 1.
Yeah.
This is it for you.
I need the tie.
Jets at Dolphins.
Oh no.
Yeah, for the tie.
Oh man. You didn't hit this exact, I'm guessing.
I didn't. I was 1 point off, so.
I'm going to say Jets by 3.5.
All right. I win. I get either way, because I said Jets by 2. It opened Jets by 1, but now. Oh no! Right now it's Jets by 1.5. Okay.
That's bad.
So I get it.
Every week, I'm 0-3 in weeks where I don't do preliminary guesses on the lines before we do the podcast.
But don't
bad,
you do
bad
better
coaching by me.
Don't you do better in your picks then when you lose to me? I thought
maybe I do.
That's how it was.
Maybe I do. That's a tough loss. I'm not totally ready to count out Miami yet.
Yeah.
Because maybe Chad Henne is better than Chad Pennington.
Yeah.
Why was Chad Pennington good?
Week. Like their running backs are taking 70% of snaps, so what does it matter? And that defense showed up. I don't know. Whenever a team plays Buffalo, maybe you should just throw it out, because they played well against the Patriots, and that means nothing, and they were just god-awful against the Dolphins last week. So
I got to tell you that, after finishing that entire slate of games, that's one of the worst NFL weeks I think I've ever heard you list. That might be number 1. I'm trying to think of one game that I'm excited for.
I just read it from the.
I blame you a little bit, but is there one game that you're like, oh, I got to see that game?
The Pats Broncos is the most compelling game, and
yes,
or maybe Jets. That's it.
Did you see the stat that every week the Pats have played a team that hadn't lost yet?
Is that right?
Fifth straight week that they've gone against a team with no losses.
Oh, wow.
And then that ends next week, because I think we play Tampa. We play 2 teams that haven't won yet the next 2 weeks, but for these 2, yeah.
What did we do last week with our underdog? We lost, right? I'm sure we lost.
Yeah, we lost. We did the Packers, but we had to force it because.
Oh yeah.
There really wasn't. We should have just passed last week. There wasn't a good underdog pick. But we have some good ones this week.
What do we do this week? I'm looking at Cleveland as a 6-point underdog to win that game. I don't know. I'm not sold on Buffalo. I like our offensive coordinator theory.
I like the Texans. What do you think of the Texans?
Texans?
The Texans just might be a good team.
All right, let's do that. That's plus 190.
Yeah, let's put 1,000 on the Texans. I think we have a little nest egg left. We're still up like 600. Or up like 500 or something. 600? Yeah. Something like that.
Joe, what is it?
Come on, Joe.
I have no idea. What are you talking about, Sal?
He's still crying about Trent Edwards.
Well, we were down. No, we're down. We're up 600.
All right.
I think.
So what are we putting?
Sometime.
All of it or half of it on?
No, let's bet 1,000. We'll go in the hole if we lose this.
Oh. All right.
Yeah. Well, we need to hit big.
Let's do it.
Here's the thing about Houston. So they lose to the Jets in week 1. Everybody assumes, oh, man, we overrated Houston and they stink. How could we do that? We're so stupid. Now they've been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
They took care of business last week.
Once Slayton's running now like he's supposed to be, and Andre Johnson's one of the top 3 receivers, and their defense is playing solid, so that's all you wanted out of them anyway, right?
I'm gonna tell you something, and you don't have to react now. You can wait till the next podcast. I think I might retire from fantasy football after this year.
No,
I'm serious.
What are you talking about?
I've had it. It's not fun. You can't tell me it's fun. Explain 3 fun things about it.
Well, of course it's not fun.
What's fun about it? Why is it fun? Why did I have fun last night needing 39 points to catch Jamie with Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin, and they get inside whatever, and every time Favre's like throwing to everybody but Harvin, and Peterson's not running the ball, and I'm just mad the whole time. And I'm mad that I don't have that stupid Shanko on my team, or that I didn't pick up that Finley on the Packers. And it just makes me feel bad about myself. And I just feel bad the whole time.
Here's why it's fun. You're right for the most part, but here's why it's fun. There was a trade that we all thought was terrible this week.
Yeah.
And we went for days. We emailed each other back and forth, like 8 of the guys. And John Hamm was involved in the trade, and our friends Tony and Kyle were the others. And we thought Tony and Kyle ripped off John Hamm. It's his first year in the league. And Tony and Kyle got Marion Barber. John Hamm basically got Ocho Cinco, and was it Chris Cooley? I guess no. Who was the tight end? There was a tight end that scored.
It was Chris Cooley.
It was Cooley. Okay.
He got somebody else good.
Lopsided. We thought, hey, if you're going to get running backs at a premium, so if you're going to get a running back, you have to give up a really good receiver, not one of 3 receivers who could light it up for the Bengals at any time.
Yeah.
So we're all over Tony and Kyle. Of course, what happens? Better than the Madden curse, predictably. Ocho Cinco and Cooley score like 3 touchdowns, and they're playing each other. And here's why fantasy football is great. Ocho Cinco's second touchdown, Tony bangs the end table and then goes off and does 2 shots of tequila.
That was funny. Well, maybe it's just fun to watch other people do fantasy football.
Yeah.
Because, I have the Tony Romo, Roy Williams hookup.
Yeah, that's no good.
Which is about as fun.
No one told you to do that.
It's about as fun as having the Michael Jackson, Lisa Marie Presley hookup.
Oh, man.
It's just miserable, and I hate Tony Romo, and I just hate everybody. I hate both of my teams. My other league, I took LaDainian Tomlinson with my first pick. He stood in the sidelines for 3 weeks. He came in last week. He had 7 carries for 15 yards, and then stood on the sidelines after missing about 20 blocks, telling the defense to show some heart.
Yeah.
I want to cut him. Like, I've been seriously thinking about just making a statement in my East Coast League and just cutting Tomlinson. Here, get off my team.
I know. It's sickening. Yeah, I know.
Don't like
First and goal, and the Bears have this guy Wolf in the backfield. You're waiting for Forte to put up big numbers all year. I know. It's the worst.
It's a 90% chance of being unhappy.
I will not let you quit.
And if you're in a 12-team league, it's a 92% chance of being unhappy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I might do it. I might do next year. I might vote myself out if I win the league. I'm going to vote myself out.
July's going to come up, and you're not going to want to do 100 mock drafts. And come on, you know what it's about.
I'm not enjoying it, Sal.
All right. Maybe it wasn't 2 shots of tequila. I don't want to get Tony in trouble. I don't know.
It was 3.
I say, by the way, just a quick baseball prediction. I say Yankees over Cardinals. I don't know if you're allowed to do it if you're saving it for a column, but...
No, I'm not saving it for anything. Yankees over Cardinals. What kind of gambling odds do you get on that?
I was looking. They don't have anything on the matchups yet, but the Cards are to win the National League. The Cards are plus 175, and the Yankees are minus 120. So you probably get about almost 4 to 1. All
right, I have one comment on this, but I don't follow the National League. I refuse. I don't follow my favorite baseball leagues, but. Everybody seems to think the Cardinals are going to make the World Series.
They do, huh?
The National League does not work that way.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know they were...
I have not talked to one person yet who didn't think the Cardinals were going to cruise. You had Sean Casey on the podcast for tomorrow, everybody thinks the Cardinals cruise. Nobody's even trying to put up a fight with another pick.
Well, take the Rockies because it's fun, and they've been doing it on the road for the last 2 weeks anyway. I think that's worth a fly.
How great would that be? Fox would commit suicide. Rockies, Angels!
If they have to go through that again.
I'm very concerned about my Red Sox because everybody seems to think that they just own the Angels and we're headed for another Yankees-Red Sox series, and that always is a concern. You never want to just pencil in teams.
You root for a matchup, it doesn't work out, right? Like, weren't the Tigers, I remember all the Yankee fans were like, oh, the Tigers, we want to play the Tigers, and then the Tigers killed them. And I went to the World Series that year.
I know this has been a big deal, but the Miguel Cabrera .26 blood alcohol, I was like in awe of that. I'm trying to think at any point, .26. I'm trying to think at any point in my life if I've ever had a .26 blood alcohol.
No.
Like even like in college when we were trying to, hey, let's see if we can drink this whole vodka bottle. Even that I don't think puts it that high.
Well, you haven't had Ocho Cinco score twice against you when he was on your roster 3 days before.
I mean, amazing. The day before the biggest game of the year, that's the story of the year in my opinion. I know we got 2 months to go, but it's pretty good.
Big. But I hope they win.
All right, Cousin Sal.
Let me just plug Jimmy Kimmel Live. We have a Dancing with the Stars cast off. We have Joel McHale, Kelsey Grammer, and Michael Moore this week. And my horrible picks on JimmyKimmelLive.net. Guarantee I win 5 games a week. Right in there, 5. So if you can figure out which ones they're going to be, you're in good shape.
Kimmel, I think, needs to do something really dramatic right now with the way this late night thing's going.
Yeah.
Up the stakes. Maybe kill a drifter.
That's what we need. We need ideas for Kimmel to up the stakes, and we need a name for the team that is never on in a 4-screen.
What about if he just robs a liquor store?
He did that. He got nothing for it.
Because really, like this Letterman thing, I watched last night. Did you watch last night?
He should just apologize. I saw the clip of him apologizing again, but he should apologize every night. I think it's fun.
What about the part when he talked about his wife and she's horribly upset and he's got a lot of work to do and by golly, my work's cut out for me.
And he got a standing ovation.
And the audience was like, what do we do right now? Do we laugh? And then they just started applauding because they had no idea how to react. It was...
Yeah, you would have thought it was the greatest stupid Patrick of all time. They loved it.
It was one of the strangest television moments I think that's ever happened.
That was weird. I'm with you.
Yeah. All right, Cousin Sal. Talk to you next week.
All right, Bill. Talk to you soon.
One more thing. We launched a new podcast series that I'm the host of. It's the 30 for 30 series. It's separate from the BS Report. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on ESPN.com. If you're an iTunes subscriber to the BS Report, you should also subscribe to the 30 for 30 podcast on iTunes. We're going to have some of the directors on. We're going to have some of the principals of the films on. I'm probably going to try to do it once a week or once every 2 weeks, something like that. So definitely subscribe. It opened up yesterday, #1 on iTunes overall, which is great. We have never had a #1 overall podcast on ESPN.com. And the BS Report rode the coattails and is #2. So thank you. Thank you to everybody who subscribes to either or both. We appreciate it. 30 for 30 series, and it actually premieres tonight on ESPN, 8 o'clock. Peter Berg's film about Wayne Gretzky. It's called King's Ransom. It's excellent. And I hope you tune in. Until next time on the BS Report.
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
You laughed. You cried. You turned up the sound repeatedly, and now it's all over. Thus concludes another installment of the BS Report. And with all this talk about sports, Bill Simmons neglected to mention this important just breaking news. The $5 footlong anthem rolls on with Subway Everyday Value. So many of your Subway favorites are $5 footlongs, like the Taste-tacular Spicy Italian $5 footlong and the Pile Ridiculously High BLT $5 footlong, both made to your order on the freshly baked bread of your choice.